Scafidi and Chris from Heavy and 97.1 The Eagle, and we're here with Scott and Rob from Anthrax. Thanks for coming by. Thanks for enjoying the Texas heat at Mayhem Festival today. Is it warm enough for you?
We've had worse on this tour.
Not as bad as Phoenix.
Yeah, so you guys are coming
Phoenix
in.
is bad.
Yeah, Phoenix is bad. We were just actually checking out your Twitter, and you just tweeted a photo of a guitar that Dimebag had made for you. Coming back to Dallas, obviously that brings back memories of Dime and the days with Pantera. Could you share a particular anecdote about Dime that I don't know that you like to think about when you come back into Dallas?
Off the top of my head, I don't ever really have one story prepared about Daryl. It's just more of a, I don't know, it's just more of an overall feeling. You know, we were friends from 85 till 94. So, you know, we spent a lot of time together in those 19 years. And just one of those guys where it was always exciting when we got to spend time with each other, whether we were on tour together or we were playing Dallas and he was come out to a show or I was going out to a Pantera show somewhere. I always cherished the time I got to spend with Daryl. It was always fun. You always knew what you were in for. You know, it was always a blast. I don't know still to this day, I don't know anyone else on this planet that was like him. So, you know, I have all my moments. I have 19 years of fond memories of Daryl.
How about you, Rob?
I mean, I didn't know Daryl, you know, nearly as long as these other guys did, but you know, he was just a great dude to hang with. I mean, every time we would come to Texas, you know, I remember him being on the bus and just like the whole bus would just light up. You know, he was just a really funny guy. He was awesome.
Good spirit.
Have you guys been to the clubhouse yet with him, or did y'all ever go to him, or with Vinny?
I was there a few times.
Nice.
We'll leave those stories for another time, perhaps.
We'll roll off camera stuff.
Yeah. So I wanted to check on a status update on your boy Charlie, and he was kind of on the disabled list for a while. What's the latest on him?
He's still on the disabled list. Excuse me. He's got a yeah, we're going to have to place him on waivers soon. Just kidding. No one knows what that means anyway unless you're a nerd baseball fan. Yeah. But yeah, he actually told Jason Bittner the other day he still can't grip a stick. So yeah, I guess I don't know if it's a day by day or a week by week kind of thing with his hand and his wrist, and we're just hoping he gets back out here soon.
All right, so you guys just came out with Worship Music about a year ago. By the way, one of the best albums of last year. You have a new EP coming out of here, and then you're doing something with Neon Nights, a tribute to Dio. Can you kind of explain that to us?
It's not an EP, really. It annoys the shit out of me that, you know, the press release goes out and they say we're recording an EP, and it's not what we're doing. We have a bunch of cover songs that we've been working on for like 2 years now that look like they're finally going to get done maybe by the end of this month. And the idea is we're basically just going to re-release Worship Music, like a tour edition of the record with a bunch of bonus stuff. That's the plan. And it's supposed to come out sometime in September to coincide with the next leg of the tour with Testament and Death Angel. We're doing the third leg of that coming up September, October. So basically, yeah, it's going to be like a tour edition of the record with a bunch of bonus stuff on it.
All right, and then you got the tribute to Dio with Neon Nights. Why did y'all choose that song over some of the other Dio songs?
That's a great tune. I mean, it fits Joey's. You know, Joey really digs that song. He sounds great on it, and it came out really cool. We're proud of it.
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's a ton of ones you could pick, but when Wendy Dio asked us to be on the record, it was kind of the first one. I think it was both Charlie and I, like, almost at the same time, we're like, let's do Neon Nights. Like, just like that, you know. We've kind of been jamming on that song forever as it is. Like, it's just one of those ones that we probably would have recorded anyway at some point. So this just, you know, gave us the excuse to finally go do it. And, yeah, Joey, it's kind of crazy. We were in Europe in June on playing festivals, and the Machine Head guys were in the dressing room, and we were on the bus or something. We put it on. And I think it was Phil Demmel. He's like, wow, what is that from? You know, Ronnie sounds amazing. And we're like, that's Joey.
It's a good sign. And he would have been 70 years old today, yeah. Ronnie James Dio, which is amazing that even up to the end, he was as vivacious and just killing it on vocals as he was, 20, 30 years ago. So looking forward to hear that. Now, you got your little goatee going. You've had that for, I don't know, decades now, right?
Yep.
I don't know if you've seen, but you're in the brackets for Metal Sucks, best beard in metal. You're up for the voting on that. Do you have any comments that might sway voters in your favor?
Zach and Carrie both have way better beards than me.
Yeah, they're both in there as well.
So if you want to vote for the underdog, then I guess vote for me. But I would absolutely say that their beards are more, let's say, impressive, I guess.
And how long did it take you to grow that?
I don't know. I don't count. I've had something on my chin since 1986. So, but I've cut it many times. So
I always feel like you're going to find chunks of food in Zach's beard. He just strikes me as a guy that, I'm meeting him and talking to him. They just, you might find some fries in there after a day or two. I don't know.
you should ask Zach.
All right.
So you're a big zombie fan. You were on The Walking Dead. You did the webisode and all that stuff. Season 2 kind of went in phases. Like, it had the first phase where a lot of people were kind of hating on it. It was kind of going slow. And then I guess there was a change in writers, and the second half of the season kind of really kicked into high gear. New season of Walking Dead starting in, I think, October. What are you looking forward to with the new season? Do you have any insights, being sort of an insider now?
Yeah, but if I told you, then I'd have to kill you.
I just come back as a zombie, so.
Then I'd kill you again.
Damn, you've got all the answers.
I have a little bit of insight, but none of which I'm going to divulge here. They do a lot of things differently on the show than just strictly following the comic. If you watch the show and read the comic, obviously they diverge quite a bit. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to season 3 a lot. I mean, we've got the jail and we've got the governor, both of which, both things I've been looking forward to quite a bit, and see how it gets depicted. And for all intents and purposes, for everything I've been hearing, there's going to be no punches pulled in this next season. It's supposed to be pretty brutal, as it should get, as things kind of keep moving along in a world populated by zombies. It's never going to get any easier.
And I like that they haven't been afraid of killing off core characters and trying to make it, I guess, more realistic and not holding anybody sacred.
That's what makes the comic so great. Is from the time I started reading the book, you never ever felt like anyone was safe. I mean, if you read the book, the main character, Rick, gets his arm cut off, which they haven't done yet in the series, but I've read in interviews they said they're not against doing that. I kind of find it hard to believe a TV show that big is going to cut the arm off the main character of the show. If they did it, it would then be the greatest show ever in the history of television. And I kind of hope they do, because it's one of the things that makes the character great in the comic is the fact that he's crippled, and it makes it even more real, So I'm kind of hoping they go down that road, but no, believe me, I've asked everyone I can if they're going to do it, and no one will answer me.
And we got Michonne coming up in this season, it looks like.
Yeah, they showed her at the end of last season.
Yeah, she looks badass.
There's already been a bunch of pictures of her online slicing zombies up. So, yeah, she's obviously a main character too. I'm interested to see how they're going to do the rape scene with the governor. Obviously, it's one of the most brutal things ever in the book, and I think they get away with a lot on that show for television. There's a lot of gore. Rape, on the other hand, is that's a totally different subject matter. So. It's amazing how you could show, you can get away with almost all that kind of violence and blood and guts, but when it comes to other subject matter, it's a bit touchier, as it should be, and so it'd be interesting to see how hardcore that gets.
So, I'm a huge nerd, like you are, into zombies and comic books and stuff. What was it like being a zombie in one of the webisodes? Like, being dressed up, you had all the stuff to it.
It was super uncomfortable.
Not as cool as you would think it would be?
No, I'm saying it was super uncomfortable physically, but it's something I've always wanted to do, my whole life. So, yeah, I didn't want to take the makeup off. The only reason I did is because it actually started to hurt. But, yeah, it was a load of fun.
So, Rob, you guys are coming up on 30 years since your first album comes out. The band has you've done everything. A couple years ago, when you were having the lineup issues with singers and whatnot, did you guys ever say, you know what, we've done so much, let's go be dads and husbands, and we'll do something else and
I
just
never
have
said
fun.
that.
Well, yeah, I mean, not you, but I mean, like there's a world of possibilities that comes with being in a band the size of Anthrax and having that sort of credibility. Did you ever think, we've done great, let's move on and do something else?
No, not me. You know things are going to work out eventually.
You're happy with how everything's worked out?
I think that's obviously, yeah.
I mean, it was definitely a weird time when we started recording this new album. We started back in 2007, and just everything got really strange, and we just had to put the record on ice for a while until it got figured out.
When you were in that strange period, did you think? I mean, the Big Four stuff, was that even a possibility at that time? Were y'all? I mean, what was your attitude like at that time?
I think that's what gave all of us a big kick in the ass to get our shit together, really, because at the time, Joey wasn't back in the band yet. We didn't have a singer. We had this record that was half finished, and it was more about let's go out and do these Big Four shows, and we asked Joey to do it, and he came back, and it just felt really good, and just from there it just happened organically, and here we are right now.
You guys mentioned earlier touring in Europe, and now you just got off a European leg of your tour. Obviously, the Randy Blythe thing with Lamb of God is going down now, and everybody knows how that's happened, and it's just sort of state of limbo now. What I'm interested in is how is it going to affect you guys as far as it goes with touring either here in the U.S. or specifically in Europe? What are your thoughts on how it affects Anthrax?
I don't know. It's just scary because I won't pretend to know really all the real details of what's going on, but from what I've been told, they had no idea that this kid died 2 weeks after their show, and then cut to 2 years later, and you're getting arrested for something. It's just that fact alone just seems so weird to me that this whole thing was building for 2 years. Like, they waited 2 years. Like, this kid died 2 years ago. Well, why didn't they like say something then and say, hey, we want to extradite this guy over from the United States. We think he's guilty of this. No, but you wait 2 years and then you snatch the dude at the airport when he sets foot on the, the soil in the Czech Republic. The whole thing just smells fishy to me.
Shady.
That's how do you, you just keep that silent? You don't say anything about it. Like, that just seems really weird to me. And, I can't, I personally don't remember myself having pushed or touched anybody in any way, shape, or form on stage in the last few years. But I don't even think that matters anymore. It seems like with this, it's setting a weird kind of a precedent where anyone could do anything now. They could just say, hey, you did this, and we're going to arrest you and we're going to hold you until you prove that you didn't do it. And, it's scary. It's really scary.
So a fun thing we like to do when we wrap up these interviews is a Mount Rushmore of metal. We take, your 4 top, metal icons that you would put on a Mount Rushmore of metal, and it could be any 4 members or with specific instruments, vocals,
bass,
guitars,
guitar.
bass, yeah. Who would go on your Mount Rushmore metal?
Easy, Black Sabbath.
That's easy. That's simple. Rob?
So you you're talking about picking a band?
Yeah, well, no. Any 4 icons from metal, so it could be Dio on vocals, Dime on guitar, anything, any 4 guys.
Van Halen.
All right, that's easy.
That was
Sabbath,
easy enough.
Van Halen. Problem solved. Scott, Rob from Anthrax, thanks so much. Worship Music, 1-year anniversary, not EP, tour edition of the album with some bonus features on it. That's going to be coming out in September. Look forward to hearing it. Thanks for spending time with us.
Right on, guys.